So I'm in a hurry to Ohio. If this shirt looks a little bit big, it's actually my 6'6", 18-year-old son's shirt. I took it out of his closet. My goodness, this kid got a lot of room to grow in it. Anyway, it's his dad, me, Rob Pratte, along with a guy that I love so much. He is none other than Rick Okreshewski from the Keystone Mountain Lake Regional Council of Carpenters. Here we are again, my home away from home, the great Jimmy Joe Savage Legacy Studios in the heart of East Liverpool, Ohio, where for many years I was right up the street playing music. And for those of you who are baby boomers, a lot of those songs were Hall & Oates and Tears for Fears. They will be in Pittsburgh at the PPG Paints Arena, some place that the Carpenters had a little bit to do with. That will be on June 13th. So Hall & Oates, and of course live at Daryl's house on MTV. I just thought coming down here I'd share some of the love and feel like I was young again. But every day I get up I realize I'm not, and trying to fit into this shirt, I realize, where did my muscles go? They're gone. Anyway, listen, the reason I have you here, I love the coal mining industry, and we are just literally miles right over the Jennings-Randolph Bridge, the mighty Ohio River, to that great county of Hancock County, and you think of Chester, Newell, New Cumberland, and all the way to Charleston. My friend Ted Arnaud, we're all about the great coal mining industry. And good news as far as President Trump and this proposed budget, something you just found out today, so let's begin with that.
Well, the new budget that's out there is pretty much going to mimic what's been out there for a long time. There's very few cuts. There's things there, and there's also funding for retired coal miners for their health care, which is extremely important right now.
You know, you and I had a long conversation last night on the radio about a number of things, but before we get into why it's so significant when you say Keystone Mountain, as in the West Virginia Mountains Regional Council of Carpenters, why you're so affiliated with the coal mining industry and contractors and, of course, laborers, meaning carpenters in West Virginia. Tell everybody about what you're doing next Friday, coming up Friday at your wonderful facility.
Friday at our training center in Pittsburgh, we have our annual open house and expo. And what we do is we bring our fourth-year apprentices that are graduating, as well as we probably will have close to 600 to 700 kids from different area CTCs, Career and Tech Centers, that will come through to look at their opportunities out there and see what's out there for them in the future whenever they choose the carpenters or choose another trade to go to. And we do an expo to show the kind of work we do and the 6 different trades that we represent.
All right, now we're going to talk about the coal mining industry. One of the things that they're very concerned about with the Trump administration and moving forward in Washington is certain things that could really affect them. And I believe if you hurt union labor, you hurt our economy, to where in many cases you won't recover. Let's talk about the prevailing wage and why it's so important to the coal mining industry, and where does that stand right now?
Well, the prevailing wage for us as tradespeople, we have lost the prevailing wage in West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. We're trying to be sure that it's there. You know, when we take care of ourselves through our pension funds, through our medical funds, and when we lose wages, what happens is we lose percentages of money going into those funds, which once again stresses those funds, because they're already stressed because you and I are the baby boomers, and that's who's retiring and using that money. So when prevailing rate is attacked, it really hurts the people that are able to retire, but also those that are working are going to pretty much make less money. You know, you can pretty much count on that.
Now, the right to work is in court. Is that where that's at right now?
Well, the right to work in West Virginia is in court.
That's what we're talking about right now, West Virginia.
Right, yes. The right to work has passed the legislation in West Virginia, but it's held up in court right now. So the right to work component is in limbo right now. So the state is still a state that union representation is still the way that it has been in the past.
One of the things that concern me is anytime they start taking as opposed to adding, or at least leaving status quo. And I understand programs are being cut. What's being affected in West Virginia?
Well, there's just programs that because work is down, there is less money in tax revenue. And when there's less money in tax revenue, there's less money that go out to support community programs and different human services programs. And anytime that happens, stress falls somewhere else. And so it's real difficult. I don't think we really realize how much our tax dollars do help people that have put a lifetime into a career and then are incapable of doing that anymore. They need some help. And some of these programs that are being cut are are being felt by some of the people.
What about wages being down?
Wages are going down, and that's the sad case. When prevailing rate is not held up, and then what happens is wages start to go down. Sometimes I used to call it a race to the bottom, because one person's going to need to work, so they're going to bid or go less than the other person, and that'll just keep on going down whenever a standard isn't held. And that makes it very difficult for contractors to make money, as well as very difficult for the average employee to go out there and make money.
And you're only as good as what you continue to learn, because we always are learning. Now I understand in West Virginia that funding for education now is being cut too. So what's up with that?
Well, if you think about, once again, when tax revenue drops, the revenue, the opportunities to fund, start to fall away. And that's not a healthy thing, no matter how you slice it. When somebody's not making as much money, there's going to be less tax revenue, and it starts with one person, then it goes to two, then it goes to a million people that are making less money, and obviously there's going to be less contributions into the tax revenues.
Rick Okrashevsky, Keystone Mountain Lake Regional Council of Carpenters. Please tell them what you do.
Well, right now I am the Industry Outreach and Marketing Director for the Keystone Mountain Lakes Carpenters. And one of the things that I do is I try to do good industry relations and help anywhere that we can with the carpenters to be problem solvers and be part of the community and help young people have an opportunity to go to work after high school and be able to live well with a sustainable wage. And that's one of the things I do. And I'm very proud of that. I've been a carpenter now 40 years, and I suppose they trust me to be able to be out there to be the face of us, and I hope I can keep doing that very well.
And also what you do as far as future carpenters, this is really so significant. Maybe a lot of you are seeing this for the first time. It's a great opportunity, with high school graduation fast approaching, not everybody really is college material, so tell them what you do.
Well, what we try to do is we try to show opportunities that God graced me with being able to use my hands and my mind to build things. I'm not as good at sitting down, looking at a book and taking and reading and then retaining, but I'm real good at looking at something, looking at a blueprint, being able to build the structure that they want built. And we're trying to find those young people that fall into that slot and help them find their way through construction, whether it be with the carpenters in our 6 different trade groups that we have, or it's in another part of our industry, in another trade.
Ladies and gentlemen, always good to see my pal Rick Okrashevsky from the Keystone Mountain Lake Regional Council of Carpenters. Up next on the AT&T Sports Line, Ted Arnaud, Canelo Alvarez, and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. HBO Boxing Pay-Per-View, Golden Boy Productions, Oscar de la Hoya, this Saturday at the Mobile T Arena. That's next from Legacy Studios in East Liverpool.